Talk Show. Your host is here for the show tonight to interview our special guest. Show highlight the Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, boxing, tennis, golf, and racing. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Tune in for all the news and scores, reporting on the games and so much more. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show.
Welcome everybody to another wonderful episode of the Alford Sports Talk Show. I'm Alan. The live chat is available, and we are live here today. Definitely, it is a groundbreaking, shocking Friday. I saw the news, I guess about 2 or 3 minutes. Ironically, I was on Instagram at the right time, the right place, and I saw the news. And it really, the only word that could come to my mind was wow. It was really wow. And that news, for those who don't know, UFL announced today, clear as day, that they are going to be moving 3 teams. Those teams, unfortunately, are going to be the San Antonio Brahmas, the Michigan Panthers, the Memphis Showboats. And it was shocking for a few different reasons. Number one, it was in the mix that Michigan might be a team a few months back that might be moved, as well as Memphis. Definitely Memphis. They've been kind of teetering with Memphis for some time now. And unfortunately, with the passing of Fred Smith, for those who don't know, Frederick Smith was the founder and the chairman of the board, basically, of Federal Express. And anytime you see a Federal Express truck, Fred Smith was the guy who was the founder, multi-billionaire. And when he passed a few months back, you kind of knew Memphis was going to be in trouble just because he subsided a lot of the funds for Memphis. Michigan, their attendance grew quite a bit this past season. Started off slow, but they started to really do well. And they were in the championship game too. But because of attendance, they were a team that was in the mix as far as possibly being moved. The shocker that I had no clue was even on the radar from all the reports that were accurate, some that were starting rumors, nobody mentioned at any point, time, or place that the San Antonio Brahmas was going to be a team that was going to be on the bubble. I did not know it at all until I literally saw today's breaking news and that press release that the UFL put out. It shocked me because Brahma Babe, Savion Patton, Coach Pardee, and Viva Texas. It just, those names, because they have an outstanding, talking about the Brahmas, they have an outstanding fan base, very loyal, very strong. I actually been to San Antonio. I went to the championship game in San Antonio when it was the XFL, and that was a shocker to me. It really was. In fact, I still am shocked because they did have very good attendance, and they had a lot of diehard fans. The San Antonio fans they supported. They did. They supported the team die hard through the thick and thin. A perfect example is Brahma Babe. She showed up, travel with the team, even when it was tough for me to make it to some of the games. Brahma Babe was there. She supported the league. She supported the team. And again, I had no earthly idea, even being in the media, that the San Antonio Brahmas was on the bubble. What they said basically was the reason why they made the decision, at least in the short press release, was the fact that they are going to smaller venues. Some of the places that they decided to move and the teams, they didn't line with that. They probably wanted a bigger venue. The smaller venues may have not been available, or it just didn't fit with the UFL as far as where they wanted to move. And it's really unfortunate. It really is. It is first and foremost, prayers go to all the players, coaches, fans that their team is moving. I've been on that fence, meaning I know how it feels. The Orlando Guardians was a team that I originally, when I came into contact with with the XFL at the time, it was called the XFL at the time. It was the Orlando Guardians. A year after the Orlando Guardians, I just had a good feeling kind of early on that the Orlando Guardians were not going to survive the merger with the UFL. I just had even though I was covering it, even though I was hoping that I was wrong, I just didn't have that feeling. Lo and behold, they did do a lay with the Orlando Guardians, and they are now doing away with the San Antonio Brahmas, the Michigan Panthers, and Memphis. Memphis, we kind of knew out of the three, was probably the weakest link, especially being that Fred Smith passed. You kind of knew that their days were numbered because that subsidy that he was giving, that was more than likely not going to be the case with his passing, unfortunately. May Fred Smith rest in peace. But the Brahmas was a total shock to me. It was a total shock. Props to Savion Patton. He replied to my message. Viva Texas. It was a shock because it was never, ever on the radar. Their fans are loyal. The San Antonio Brahmas, they have some very, very loyal fans, and it was just, I felt bad for the fans and the fan base. Viva Mexico official, and he told me he was heartbroken. I can imagine, and because to get that news, but I felt like I had to let Brahma Babe know. I had to let Savion Patton know, Pardee know. There was a few players that I, at the time when it came in, it came in kind of like thinking about them after the fact, and if I missed some people to tag, but the fan base is really what stood out to me, and it really was a shock. And I'm still like, wow, I still can't believe. Not to say the other teams are not in the same position, but at least the other teams you kind of braced yourself a little bit because you kind of knew Memphis was kind of, their attendance was dragging over the last couple of years. A lot of the money, the reason why they didn't get rid of them sooner was because of Fred Smith, him subsidizing, giving large donations to keep the team in Memphis. Props to him for doing that. He's a multi-billionaire, so he has those type of resources. And you kind of knew, with him passing, things probably going to change. I've been on that side of the fence too, where things with management, you're doing good with one management team, and then the other team, the new management comes in. Brahma Babe said we got the rug pulled out. Yeah, it felt that way to me too, even though the Brahmas aren't the team that I technically cover. It felt that way too because it was never on the radar as far as I was concerned. Of all the rumors, of all the ones that the talks, and I've heard a lot, it never was a team that was ever mentioned. Houston Roughnecks was a team that came up. The Michigan, so at least Michigan and Memphis were two teams that we did hear at some point may be on the bubble. The Brahmas, not so much. And it just seems as if the venue, which I don't think that venue really should cost a lot of money, quite frankly. I mean, I know it's a large stadium, but it's, from what I've seen, just, I'm not the guru. It didn't seem, when I visited, in the very best of neighborhoods, let's say nicely. I just was shocked. I was shocked with the way that the fans support. I was shocked that they pulled out with the Brahmas. I still shocked. I definitely, many prayers to all Brahma Babe, all the fans. They deserve better. They deserve better. I really have to say that much. I know that it's business. Viva Mexico official, Savion Patton, and I know I'm missing some others. And I apologize if I did, but the entire Brahmas organization, just because of the shock of the factor, the sheer shock. And I was like, that's all I can say was wow. Like, say it ain't true. Say it, just, I didn't want to believe it, but it was official. Came from the league office, and then coincidentally, about 5 minutes later, they sent an email confirming what was said already on Instagram, that they're moving the teams. And giving you my opinion, which is what I do here at the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show, I just find it hard that you're going to move specifically Michigan and San Antonio and still keep afloat. I just feel like the fans of San Antonio were do or die fans. They were just hardcore. And Brown Bay said, we don't have a soccer stadium that will equip 20K unless, I don't think so in San Antonio. Yeah, I that's the thing. I'm not the guru of San Antonio, but from where I was at, it didn't seem as if that stadium would be that much money to rent out per se. When I say that like that, it didn't seem like it was in a very, very industrial business-like area. It seemed like, just from what I see aesthetically, it just seemed like it would be a boost to that city if they kept the team there in San Antonio. It seemed like it would be one of the highlights, unless they know something I don't know, but I just felt like, and that comes, I'm glad Brahma Babe said that. They said that they're going to circle a wagon and come back to Orlando, and I lost my team, the Orlando Guardians, and I was the one that was saying on the show, one thing about me is I'm very transparent and honest, and I said it on my show several times, that as much as I try to promote and advertise and market the Orlando Guardians, Orlando is a tough area for you to have something like the UFL. Even if you have it, and I know what soccer stadium they're talking about, even if you have it there, it is a smaller venue. It's just that there's so many options on Orlando. There's just too many options. It's a tourist area for one and foremost. And number two, you have all the theme parks, Disney, you have Magic Kingdom, you have World of Adventure. I mean, it's so many. Animal Kingdom. You have the list goes on and on and on. Then you have all the restaurants you can think of. Then you have the new Paradise Island they opened up, Adventure Island. It's just water parks. It's just too much. And it's Ron said, our city is sad because every time they had a team taken away, you cannot keep doing that and expect people to take it. I agree. I agree. That's what I worry about. I'm from Duval, and I know how Florida pro teams struggle. Yes. And especially in Orlando, that's the thing. Orlando is a place where you have predominantly people who come to visit the area, to go to Disney, to theme parks from all over the world. It's hard for you to have a team like a UFL in that area because you can do none of that. It's an outdoor stadium too. It's hot in Orlando. You have to be really committed and dedicated and a true diehard fan for you to go to a UFL game. You have to be just for you to be there, it takes above beyond a fan. And I know they gave away some tickets and things of that nature, but a lot of time when they would say the fan attendance is, let's say 4,000 people, and I was like, are you sure you're multiplying each person by 5? Because I'm like, it looks like there's 700 people here. There's no way. I mean, I didn't count everybody with the clicker, but I'm looking at it like there's like 500 people here. I don't way see where you get 4,000. Are you going by 4,000 tickets you gave away, and that's what you're going by? I don't know why they would, and I get it. Danny has, from what I understand, she has a new home being built and probably already done now in Virginia. And I know she has a house in Orlando, and I get it, but it just doesn't make sense to me to go back to Orlando. That to me, I would have rather kept the San Antonio Brahmas where they're at rather than come back to my, in Orlando. Another thing is this: the traffic. It used to be an hour and 10 minutes for me to drive from where I'm at in Tampa to Orlando. You can forget an hour and 10 minutes. Maybe if I go in the middle of the night, yes. But if I go at any reasonable time or even like 10 o'clock at night, or it's going to take 2 hours. 10:30 at night, it'll probably take 2 hours. If I go 1 or 2, let's say 2 o'clock in the morning, it'll take about an hour and 10 minutes. But it's just the traffic has gotten crazy. More people come to visit the area. I just don't see it being. Yeah, I-4 is horrible. It is horrible. This is Brahma Babe saying it is horrible. It is, and it's gotten worse. That's the crazy thing about it. Literally, for me to cover the game, if I did not leave at least 2 hours before the game, I would have to put 2 hours before the time I had to be there. So if I had to be there at 1 o'clock, I had to leave by 11. That's what you're dealing with. You'll be going good, and then all of a sudden it's bumper to bumper traffic. And again, now if you go to that soccer stadium that I think they're going to go to, which I actually covered a couple events there, it is a really nice stadium and it is smaller, but again, it's outdoors and it's even deeper in Orlando, which means you have to be even more committed to go to that stadium in Orlando. I don't know why they would want to go back to Orlando. That's the thing, that if you want this league to survive, what you did was risky, but to go back to Orlando, I couldn't. I just, and it would be for my benefit. I just don't see it happening. I just don't. You already went there before. You renamed the team. That's not going to really change the situation. It's not going to change the situation. Yeah, they're going to outdoor in places that is hot. Yeah, it was hot. And the fortunate thing that I had was that I was in the indoors. I was in the suite. But to be out there in the sun, and the crazy thing is, when they did have the team in Orlando, they had them in the sunny side of the field too. They closed the shaded area of the field. They're like, no, we have to put you on that other side where it was no shade whatsoever, hot. It made it even worse. At least the other side was somewhat shaded. He's like, no, can't use this side. You have to use the other side. So eventually they did open the other side, but that was at the end of the season. And then the team went out. So prayers go out to San Antonio. Prayers go out to Michigan and Memphis. The players, it's still a shock to me. So what teams, where are they moving allegedly to? Orlando is one of the areas. Let me pull up the other because this Columbus was the other one. And let me pull up the third one here. That is disappointing. It's disappointing, where they're moving to. It's I just don't understand it. I get it. I get it as far as a larger venue. Yeah, so Columbus, Ohio has been confirmed, is what they're saying. The strong candidates is Orlando, one of them. So the league confirmed a franchise. We will be moving to Columbus and will play at the historic Crew Stadium. This move is part of the league's new strategy to play in smaller, more intimate venues. The other potential destination, Louisville, Kentucky. I have been to Kentucky. That is a very, very, very nice city. Really cool. Maybe you guys could tell me, is that a place? And I'm saying if Louisville gets a team, it's because a Rapoli breeder thing. Yeah, I'll show them off now. I probably already said too much, so I'm just gonna just keep going what it is. This move is risky. This move is very risky, and I know that when they said they were gonna make some moves, but Memphis I can understand. Michigan, I thought they were on the rise. They were just in a championship game. I think that's iffy. And the San Antonio Brahmas, I just don't agree with. I just don't agree with that one at all. I'm just gonna just put it out there. So we have Columbus, Ohio is confirmed. The other potential is Louisville, Kentucky, Orlando, Boise, Idaho. This city was listed as potential destination. Some reports from July 2025, though other reports indicate it may no longer be a primary target. Orlando Florida says following the relocation of the San Antonio Brahmas, Orlando is reportedly a top contender to rejoin the league. Previous XFL teams have played in the city, which still has a prepaid lease for its stadium. I guess the prepaid lease is the. I just don't understand that. The fans to me in San Antonio were better than Orlando. Let's just call it like that. And I don't mean like they didn't have good fans in Orlando. It's just there was more diehard fans in San Antonio. Yes, it was a big stadium to fill, but that would be a big stadium for anybody to fill. And I thought it was good for the city to have it. So Bromberg has a question. Should I dress in gear and go to games and say, hey, UFO, bring us back? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I would love to have Rapoli here on the show, the Allen Alford Sports Talk show, to get his thoughts on some of these very aggressive moves that they're making. Again, they could have said something about the San Antonio Brahmas to brace some of the people, but it was a shock to me. It really was. Until I saw that press release today, I did not hear anything. Houston was on the bubble, and I can understand if they did part ways with Houston in a way. I mean, it's an area where it was struggling. They didn't have Brahma Babe. They didn't have didn't have those diehards like that. They did have a few fans. Viva Mexico official. They didn't. They had a few fans, but you felt as if they were missing that core fan base. And San Antonio had that and then some. They had some amazing, amazing fans in San Antonio that really supported the team through the thick and thin. That's who I really felt really bad for: the players, the fans, the coaches. Like, wow. I think Michigan was something that, even though people didn't agree with, at least they could embrace themselves with. But I'm just gonna say Orlando. To me, I'm just telling you, you've been there, done that. Literally been there, done that, and there's just so much to see in Orlando. SeaWorld. I forgot about SeaWorld. Universal Studios. Discovery Cove. They have the Titanic Museum there. I went to that. That's really cool, by the way. If you're in the area, check that out. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Wonderworks. What else can you see in Orlando? And you're competing with all this. I did mention SeaWorld, Universal Orlando, Legoland. That's right. I forgot about Legoland. Disney Animal Kingdom, Disney Blizzard Beach Water Park, Disney's Hollywood Studios. These are all theme parks. Disney Typhoon Lagoon. You can buy a group, 1-day pass if you want to go hop all of them, or you can stay there for a few days and hop them if you didn't want to do it in a day. That's a lot. Alan can get me some time at an Orlando game, I'll be there. Yeah, Brahma Babe definitely. If I run into her in Orlando, she would definitely. I would grab her for an interview there. Universal City Walk, Aquatica. Did you have any restaurant you could think of? It's just so much you could see and do in Orlando. And reason why this is important is because you're throwing in a UFL team, which you're playing outdoors, and now that it's the soccer stadium, that's even further in Orlando. So I just don't see it. And if you play at at the park again, Camping World Stadium, I don't. You already seen what happened. What are you gonna have a new name? They gonna come out because you got a new name? I just don't. Let me just see something here. And there was something else there in Orlando that I did say the Titanic Museum. That's really cool. If you guys are into Titanic in in spring, and if they have start late again, almost summer, it's Orlando. Hello, Orlando. Yeah, that's right. It's hot. It's hot, or spring football is hot, and they're outdoors. It's one thing if they were indoor. It's I just don't. I just entering Coast Stadium. That's what it's called. Entering Coast Stadium. That's where the Orlando City soccer team plays. Entering Coast Stadium. It slipped my mind for a moment. It is a really nice stadium. It is. It is beautiful. I mean, but I it might look okay on TV, I guess. It. Let me try to pull it up for you guys so you can see it. And it is, it is cool. I mean, that's where they had the Hall of Fame celebration at. Was really nice. Yeah, so let me see if I could show this to you guys and pull this up here, show you where they might be going. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so that's the soccer team. It's a nice stadium. They're showing you some of the stadium in the background there. Yeah, I guess a smaller venue might look cool, but on second thought, you got to get people to come to the game, and I just still have an issue with people doing that in Orlando. I will say my favorite stadium was Audi, but it's DC and it's a different team. Brahma football, Texas. I get the reason, but do it in 2027 and don't blindside the Brahmas. Yeah, that was a blindside. That definitely was a blindside. I will say that much. I didn't see that one coming at all. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. No one mentioned it throughout the entire time. It was really, really a shock to me. You know, how do Brahma fans are you doing? I mean, I did see the video for Brahma Babe. I'm glad she's on here. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I really didn't know what to say. I'm still in a state of shock in myself, and it definitely was the news of the day because usually they put big news out on a Friday because they don't want people to kind of notice it, to kind of squeak by for the weekend. But no, it came in. I was within 2 or 3 minutes of it posted. I saw it, and I might sometimes be one of the first people to see something online. But depending on my schedule, sometimes you don't get on there for a couple of hours, and something happened right after you were off. But no, it was timing was right there. 3 minutes. I had very few comments and likes on it at that point, and I saw it, and all I can say was wow, because I did not know the Brahmas was on there. Houston was a team they were flirting with quite a bit. It came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah, it's like that's the only thing that comes to my mouth was wow. Like it's knowing how diehard the fan base is, knowing how much Danny Garcia connected with a lot of the fans there in San Antonio. The Rock has connections with in San Antonio. That's a place that's special to him. He said it several times. So it was a shock to me. It really was. It was a shock to me. And then to find out that they're thinking about coming back to Orlando, that's on the. It's not official yet, but it is a team. So the Columbus, Ohio, you guys can start getting your season tickets wherever that is, because the league confirmed a franchise will be moving to Columbus and will play in historic Crew Stadium. The move is part of the league's new strategy of playing in smaller, more intimate venues. So Columbus, Ohio, out of the three is done. They are destination confirmed. So it's either Louisville, Kentucky, which I've been to, really cool city, Boise, Idaho. I have not been there, and Orlando, Florida. I've been there quite a bit, and not too confident about Orlando. But the stadium is cool. I'm not gonna lie. Stadium is nice. In fact, if they played where the Rowdies are in Tampa, I think that would be a good option. If you're gonna go back to Florida, maybe consider playing where the Rowdies are, because I just feel like the team might do better there. It's right by the water. It's beautiful, and I just think Tampa would be a little bit better destination, I think, than Orlando for the UFL. And the reason being is because you just got so much competition. You're competing with so many other venues and places that people could go to in lieu of spending a spring day in the hot sun. Now, if you're gonna be in the sun, you could go to a theme park. If you're gonna be in the sun, you can go to a restaurant. You can walk around Orlando. You could do a lot. And I know it's actually safer to walk around Orlando during the day. But yes, I felt bad for Brahma Babe. I felt bad for the Brahma fans. I'm not gonna lie to you. I still feel bad for them because it's like, yeah, I just feel like they deserve better. And it was a shock. It's still a shock to me. But Mike Rapoli, he's confident. He's confident. Okay, now one of the questions I did say, what can make this team what can make the UFL rejuvenize? I think you need to, once you decide on where you're going to move, whether it's Orlando or wherever, I think The Rock needs to reinsert himself and get back in the game. I think he needs to get back in the game, start like he did with the XFL, come back in the game, start showing up to games, reconnected with fans. I think it's the best time for him because he has the new movie that just came out, The Smashing Machine, which I'm going to go watch and check it out myself. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I think that will help the league. I definitely do think bringing in a couple of special guests from the NFL will help. But also, I think The Rock bringing in some of his, Jumanji cast, bringing in Kevin Hart to a game, bringing in Kevin Black, Jack Black to a game, which Jack Black is pretty hot right now because, he's got the new movie too. So I just think he should, but I don't think he's not going to San Antonio. Leaving proves that. Yeah, I don't think he's going to San Antonio, but I definitely do think he should start showing up to wherever the new venues are. The reason why they're making this move, the UFLs, what they're saying is they're doing a rebrand. The teams that they felt were struggling, they're going to move them to other areas in hopes that I think they're trying to find, they're trying to find a Battlehawks. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a Battlehawks, a place where St. Louis Battlehawks, where they can get all the fans to come to 25,000 plus in a smaller venue, so it looks good on TV. I think The Rock needs to come back into the game and start doing like he did when he was 2023, showing up, shaking hands, showing up to the new places, being reconnected with the league. Now's the time to do it. You got the Smashing Pumpkin. Brahma Babe says battle chickens only show up when they are in it. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I can't really knock them because they have 25 grand strong. I love my OG battles, but come on now. It's just it's shocking. It's still shocking that they did away with the Brahmas. I'm really still like in and I repeat, no report ever said in months that the Brahmas was on the bubble. Houston was a team that we felt could be in danger, and I can understand there. But I just with how strong the fan base is in San Antonio, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. And I know the players were talking about how great it was for them to have a team in San Antonio because you had some players that were from San Antonio playing there. So definitely many prayers to all the people connected to the Brahmas, the Michigan Panthers, and Memphis Showboats. And today was like, wow, I would have to say out of all the press releases that the UFL or XFL have made, this one was the shocker of them all. I had to say that. It was a shocker. And the flip side of that, I have to congratulate Columbus, Ohio. It said the league confirmed they will be moving to Columbus, Ohio. It says it right here. If you do a Google search about where they might potentially be, Columbus, Ohio is on there. The other reported potential destinations, congratulations to either Louisville, Kentucky, the Orlando, Florida, Boise, Idaho. Those are the three that are left. 2 out of 2 places are going to have a team. One of the 3 is going to be out. And I'm assuming it's going to be Idaho because of the fact the city was listed as a potential destination. Some reports from July 2025, though other reports indicate they may no longer be a primary target. So they could change. But yes, all of our Viva Mexico official, all of our horrible scheduling, and it's never getting better, yet we still showed up. Yeah, they showed caring about – they stopped caring about San Antonio. It's disappointing. I have to agree. That's why when I first saw the news, I felt bad for Viva Mexico official, Brahma Babe, Savion Patton, Coach Pardee. I know I am forgetting a couple, and I am apologize for that. But those are the names that came to my mind right off the bat because they are diehard fans. They did care about the team. They did show up through thick and thin. I went to the San Antonio when they had the XFL Championship. It was a fantastic time. It was actually a big crowd there for that championship game too. It was a shock. This was news that was shocking to me because San Antonio was never, ever mentioned as far as a team that was on the bubble. Savion Patton, props to him and prayers to him. He did respond and he did say to me that, it was a shock to him too. So definitely I'm still in shock too. But one of those areas is going to get a new team. Definitely Columbus, Ohio. And I can see Columbus, Ohio actually doing well because of the fact that there isn't an NFL team there. They do have the Hall of Fame there, the NFL Hall of Fame. You can make it a nice trip. You go to Columbus, Ohio to see that. There are some things to do in Columbus, Ohio, and then you go to UFL game. I could see that happening. I would love to sit down with Rapoli as a female fan and traveler. I would love to hear him and his thoughts. As someone that worked in sports media, I'm realistic, but also honest. Yeah, that's me too. I'm realistic and honest too. I would love to have Mike Rapoli come and join us here on the Allen Alpha Sports Talk Show and share his thoughts. I haven't reached out to him to make that happen. Now is a good time to do that, to hear his thoughts and his vision. It really would be. I would love to. I know what he made the comments that he's looking to move and some of the places. I know that the Stallions were on the bubble, but they're no longer on the bubble because they didn't technically meet the goal, but they came close enough to the goal. There's a lot of questions I have. Yeah, I do that, man. You're amazing. I would love to have Mike Rapoli join us here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show, and I would give him a fair interview. I wouldn't bash him or anything. I would hear what his thoughts are, and I would ask some good questions, like, okay, like, what do you have to say about the fan base that you've lost, and not just in San Antonio, which is a big diehard fan base, but other teams did lose support to Michigan and Memphis. Memphis, we kind of pretty much knew that one was going to be tough just because of, may he rest in peace, to Frederick Smith, the founder of FedEx, multi-billionaire, and was giving money to the league, the UFL, so they would stay in Memphis, which is really cool for you to be in that position, that type of financial support. And unfortunately with his passing, that was going to be a big question mark. And prayers to all the teams that are moving. But I'm curious to know what's pretty much the same question that I asked: is Rock going to be in the game now? Is he going to be drifted away? Because I think that will be an aspect that can help out this league and his connections. Get Deion Sanders back in there. Get not just that, get some of your movie stars in there. Get Kevin Hart to come to a game. Jack Black. Get them to come. I've been saying that for a long time. Get them to show up to a game. Get somebody, because if you get them to show up to a game, think about it. If you get them to show up to a game and they're in the booth, somebody will say, you know what? I need to show up to a game because I might run into Jack Black. I might run into Kevin Hart. They'll show up because of that. You need to, when you're in business and you're in marketing, I have a marketing degree right there. Go Bulls. You have to use everything in your repertoire, every tool in your toolbox to market and promote and go ahead and keep the flag going. You have to use everything that you can to promote and market yourself. Shout out to Larry Lundy. You got to use everything that you can, to in your toolbox as far as marketing, especially when you're in a league like the UFL where the odds are against you. Again, I think The Rock needs to get Kevin Hart to show up to a game. He needs to get Jack Black, some of his actors and actresses, friends to show up to some of these games, not just guys like Deion Sanders. Because if you have somebody like that show up to a game, people will say, wow, this league is serious. You got Jack Black showing up. You have Kevin Hart. I need to show up to a game because I would hate to miss a game that he was at. And you kind of go from there. They need to reach out to Tom Brady and get Tom Brady to come back into the mix. They need to at least pull on those the NFL draw. They need to pull on those strings from the NFL until you can sustain yourself. Once you get there, then you can kind of use somebody from within the UFL. But I think from now you have to kind of pull on to those things. I think The Rock needs to get back in the game, start showing up again. And I hope that these new areas that they're going to be moving to will help the league. Columbus, Ohio, I think will do pretty good. I've been in Louisville, Kentucky. That is a very, very nice area. That, I even thought about not seriously moving there, but it was on the table. Hey, Dan Campbell on the shows. He's always about the UFL. You have to use anybody that's willing to promote and help out the league. You have to use them as a resource. interview them, get them to show up. You have to use them as a resource. I thought it was, I said it when I was at the championship game. I thought it was a mistake not having any special guests. Well, they had an NFL Hall of Famer, but nobody really knew who he was, and he wasn't like one of the he wasn't like an Emmitt Smith, a Michael Irvin, a Jerry Rice. So he wasn't, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't somebody, but you need to get somebody who people can kind of facially recognize. I felt like the UFL should have had at least one or two special guests from the last championship game, because it was a repeat of the year before, but it was even a downgrade because you had nobody there. At least the year before, you had Tom Brady. You had Tom Brady at the championship game. That's a big enough name to carry it. The next year, you don't have Tom Brady. You don't have any special guests of anybody. You did have respect to the one Hall of Famer, but nobody recognized who he was. They didn't make an announcement. They made an announcement halfway through the game. They didn't maximize the opportunity, and it showed in the production of the UFL championship game. It showed in the production. It just, you have to have some of these people come through and comp them tickets if you need to. Do what you got to do. Yeah, you got to get them to show up. You got to use everything. And people like The Rock and Danny, they know people. So ask them, hey, can you do me this solid? Can you go ahead and show up to a game? Yes, Kurt Warner was there. That's right. Was also there for the first UFL championship. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Shout out to Kurt Warner. That's a big name, and he was there. That's right. He was there. Tom Brady was there. If you get Drew Brees, and Drew Brees has a connection with Luis Perez. That's the great thing about the UFL. A lot of the players in the UFL have some NFL experience, and a lot of them have some type of connection with some of the players in the league. And Brown Bay said, my heart hurts. If I had known my last game was my last one, I would have made it epic. Yeah. Yeah, it's just I had no idea. I had no idea till today. Yes, shout out to Kurt Warner. I forgot he was there. Who else was Kurt Warner was there. Tom Brady was there. I'm talking about not 2025, 2024. So yeah, that's awesome. In 2025, they didn't have any. They had the one. I'm sorry, I take that back. They had the one Hall of Famer, but no one knew who he was. Even I didn't know who he was. He wasn't a recognizable face. I want the league to make it, man. I want the league, the UFL, to make it. I know that today it's a bit of a Debbie Downer day, but I do, at the core of everything, I want the UFL to make it. I do see value in the league. I think it gives a lot of players and coaches opportunities. And those opportunities are important, because if you don't give people opportunities, guess what? I know no matter how tough things may ever get in life, I am not going to rob a bank. However, somebody else who doesn't have an opportunity, they may not see it the same way I see it. What I'm saying is, if you don't give somebody an opportunity, giving them a job or something, they get desperate enough, they will look for other opportunities that are not legal, let's say it like that, or not ethically correct. That's where the UFL has an opportunity. You're giving jobs, you're giving people opportunities, you're giving them some hope that they can get into the NFL at some point, either as a coach, a player. You give them that slimmer of hope. And yes, I do know that as a player, it's not like you have a wide open window to make it from the UFL, but you do have an opportunity. Jake Bates, Brandon Aubrey. You also have the Arlington Renegade defensive men. You have the Stallions. We've had players there. So you do have, and again, I'm sorry, those names slipped my mind. I'll pull them up for you. But yes, you do have an opportunity. And coachings. So that's where the value in the league is. You're giving somebody an opportunity. And another thing is, they may have missed their dream. You giving them another time or shot that they can get that exposure. So yes, Cavante Turpin, that's right. The Dallas Cowboys. Yes, so we've had some players that made it to the roster. I honestly think they should have had more UFL players make the NFL roster. I do believe, in my own opinion, that I don't feel like once they get to camp that the NFL really gives some of the UFL players a fair shot. I think if you're a kicker or a punter, I think you have an outstanding shot just because that's a more skilled position and there's less of them there. But I feel like the positional players, they have been some players that I felt can absolutely make an NFL roster. You have guys dropping balls all day long. There's guys in the UFL that will catch balls like there's no tomorrow. But I don't feel like once they get into camp, the NFL is giving some of those players a fair opportunity. For example, you had Sal Canella that was on, he was on the Arlington Renegades, balling out. He would get literally 10, 12 balls targeted to him, 14 balls in a game. He gets a training camp. The entire training camp, he gets 2 or 3 targeted balls. The entire training camp. I was like, there's no way you're going to make the team getting 2 or 3 targets your entire training camp. It's just not going to happen. He could have been the best thing since ice cream. I'm sorry, but if you get 2 or 3 balls thrown at you the entire training camp, less an injury or something like that, you're not going to make the team. And that's what I'm talking about. They're not getting the reps. We've seen some players that actually outplayed Luis Perez, outplayed the backup. And what did they do? They kept the NFL guy that was the backup who didn't play nowhere near as good as UFL guy, but because he has that NFL on his resume and the UFL guy doesn't, they cut the UFL guy. I think they should have some more legitimate players in the NFL. Turpin from Dallas Cowboys is correct. Let me get the other names too. Let me pull those up. UFL to the NFL, and let me get them. Let me get them all up here for you guys. Perion Winfrey for the Dallas Cowboys. Jake Bates, Adrian Martinez, the Dolphins. DeAndre Tillman, Los Angeles Rams, and Jalen Redmond. That was the other one that was on top of my head for the Minnesota Vikings from the Arlington Renegades. Yeah, I think there should be more. I really do. There's a lot of guys that are in. Yes, All-Pro kicker Aubrey. That guy is phenomenal. He's my kicker in the fantasy football. And Jake Bates is phenomenal too. What end up happening is, yeah, Brandon Aubrey, he's my kicker, and Jake Bates was my kicker last year as well. They both would have been my kicker, Jake Bates and Brandon Aubrey. But the thing about Jake Bates is the coach usually goes for 4th and 1 a lot. That's what he does. He goes a lot, and he doesn't give Jake Bates enough opportunities to kick the ball. Dan Campbell is very aggressive. He'll go for 4th and 1s, even though Jake Bates can kick it 65 yards. He just won't get the opportunity. Dan Campbell will go for it on 4th and 1 all day, every day. And that's what happened when I had him in my fantasy team last year. I was like, this guy could kick the ball forever, but he just doesn't get those opportunities because they always go for it on 4th and 1. Whereas Brandon Aubrey does they will just kick the field goal much more often. So I was like, that's the reason why I didn't take both of them this year. I said, let somebody else get Jake Bates. And same thing this year. I didn't get him this year. The person traded him within a few weeks because they saw what I saw. Jake Bates doesn't get a chance to kick it as many times because Dan Campbell goes for 4th and 1. If he was on another team, he being Jake Bates, he would get a lot of more opportunities to kick field goals. but he's just in a team that just Dan Campbell is aggressive, and he usually goes for 4th and 1s or 4th and 2s even. He does it all the time. So, props to Jake Bates. I know you can ball, man. You just don't get a chance to kick it. Jalen Redmond, props to him too. DeAndre Tillman. Yeah, I mean, they got some guys who could play in the UFL. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I want the UFL to make it. I want guys to keep getting opportunities, coaches, players, staff. Because again, if you don't give somebody an opportunity, I won't rob a bank personally, but I know if you pressure somebody enough, they will consider doing it. And that's what they will do. And you don't want that in your community. So that's where the UFL is a big thing, because these guys get paid. I mean, they don't get the NFL type money, but they get 60 grand a year, and it's 60 grand during the spring. So that's very nice. I mean, they get paid, and they should get paid. So props to the UFL, man. I really want them to make it. And Mike Rapoli, you are welcome here on the Allen Alpha Sports Talk Show. Brahma Babe, and a lot of people would love to hear what you have to say. I'm going to reach out to the league and see if I can get him to come on to the show. I'm sure he's got a lot of requests now after this news that was broken today, where, if you're just joining us, Memphis Showboats, Michigan Panthers, and San Antonio Brahmas are being moved. We do that for 100%, 110% fact. And what they're going to do is move those teams. The place that is confirmed is Columbus, Ohio. So Columbus, Ohio will be getting a UFL destination. The other 3 spots are Louisville, Kentucky, that's up for potential. Orlando, Florida, come back to Orlando, Florida, and Boise, Idaho. And Boise, Idaho, from what it's showing here, is probably the team that will more than likely not have them as a destination as of July of 2025. Reports indicate they're no longer a primary target. It can change, but that's what it's saying here. So go UFL, man. Go UFL. Go Brahma Babe. Viva Mexico official. Definitely Savion Patton, Coach Party, and prayers to all of the players and coaches. I'm sorry that they decided to make this decision. These are not easy decisions. I'm sure it was tough for them, but ultimately they feel like they got to do what's best for the league. Having said that, we're going to go ahead and switch gears and talk a little NFL football here. Let me go ahead and do that for you guys right now. Let me pull this up here. So what we have going on in the NFL is quite a few things. Let me talk about last night's game. I really thought I really thought the Rams should have pulled out that game. I really do. I just think that I have K'Ron Williams as my fantasy football running back. But I think I just knew, and I knew everybody in the building knew, they were going to hand the ball off to him on 4th and 1. And what made that play tough was not only did everybody know he was going to hand it off to him, what made that play even tougher is you ran to the side where Fred Taylor was on. If you would have flipped the play like they do in Madden and done it on the other side, not the right side, the left side, you might have had a chance. But running it on the right side with Fred Taylor, everybody knowing you're going to hand the ball off to K'Ron Williams, I knew was not going to work. And lo and behold, it did not work. So shout out to the 49ers for that defensive stand. And shout out to Sean McVay, because he stood on it and he said, I made a mistake. I made a mistake that I should not have called that play. And I knew it. Everybody in the stadium knew what the play was going to be. He ran the play and it did not work. Having said that, the Rams should have won that game because, and I do agree. Let me just say that much. I definitely agreed with the Rams playing for the win because it was only about 3 minutes and like 30 seconds left in the game. That being an overtime of 10 minutes, you was running really out of time. If you, let's say, had a few more plays and then scored two or three, they would have been within 2 minutes. Not that they can't score within 2 minutes, but if you did hold them up from scoring, guess what? It's going to be another tie. And I didn't want to see another tie. So I definitely agree with the Rams playing for the win. I totally agree with that. Love that. It's just that they should have called definitely another play. You should have done something else, or at least done that play, but done it on the left side where you're not running into Fred Taylor. I'm sorry, Fred Warner. Beg your pardon, Fred Warner, the top defensive player on their team.
And excuse me, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere, and they lost the game. But at least Sean McVay admitted it, and I got to give him props for that. Also, I wanted to talk about the Browns and Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, these are my thoughts on this. Shedeur Sanders is different than Shiloh Sanders in the regard that I just feel like the whole organization with the Browns, I feel like they did not draft Shedeur with the right things in mind. Not to say that Shedeur hasn't helped himself out some. I'll get into his kind of room for improvement, but I do feel overall the Browns did not really want to draft Shedeur Sanders with his best intentions at heart. I think they drafted him maybe for some clout, to teach maybe him a lesson, with his dad saying he didn't want prior to the draft that his son go to the Browns. He said that. He said it a couple times. I don't know if they were doing it just because they were being petty, but here's the facts. The owner said it himself. I did not want Shedeur Sanders. It was not my decision. The GM and some other guy wanted Shedeur Sanders, and they went ahead and got him in the 5th round. That was not a good statement to make. And I work in the media. That is something you should have just kept to yourself. We don't need to know that you didn't want him and it was somebody else's fault. You should have just gave the company line. Give the company line sometimes. Sometimes, when I've been a company man and been corporate America for 30 plus years, sometimes you just got to give the company line. That's the best thing to do. Hey, Shedeur is one of our players now. We're going to support him. We wish him nothing but the best. We're going to support in every way, shape, or form to put him in a position to be successful so he can help our team win. Bingo. There you go. I made the statement for you. It should be the other way around. Me being in media should not be giving somebody the owner. He should know this already. That's what you got to say, rather than, nah, I didn't want him on my team, but it was the GM who really wanted him. They wanted him, those him and somebody else, so they took him. I had nothing to do with it. I'm gonna wash my hands with that, and that's the reason why he's on the team. That's not positive. That's not giving good light to him. It's not giving good light to the team and the organization. Having said that, where has Shedeur, I think, hurt himself a little bit? I don't think Shedeur Sanders is immature, but I definitely do think that mime act that he did was immature. Again, sometimes you just got to give the company line. I'm not starting this game, but I'm going to be ready, prepared. I was dealing the best. Overall, we want the team to do well. He's got the ball. I'm going to learn as much as I can. And I know that at some point I'm going to get my opportunity. When I get my opportunity, I'm going to run with that opportunity and shine. I'm a competitor. I want to play, but I have to respect the process. That's it. You're saying that you want to play in a nice, politically correct way. You don't have to do mimes. You don't have to, do things to get looks or likes or comments. Sometimes you just got to put the clout chasing on the back burner and just do what you need to do, position yourself so that you can be the next guy up. Because I do believe Shedeur Sanders is going to get a chance. It's playing out just like I said. Joe Flacco was probably not going to be the quarterback throughout the whole season. More than likely, it was going to be an injury or something of that nature. It wasn't an injury. Thank goodness for that. But because of his play, Joe Flacco is now no longer the starter. Dylan Gabriel is up next. I feel like he's going to get a chance, but I do feel as if Shedeur Sanders is going to get his chance too. He just has to say the right things, be ready, and I do believe Shedeur will get his chance to play and be in a game before the season's out. It'll probably happen sooner than later. I see it brewing and cooking, and I think he's going to get the shot. As far as the Browns are concerned, you have to start supporting Shedeur publicly and embrace him. I don't feel like you've embraced him as a player on your team. There's other things going on, the politics behind it. Of course, I don't know all of that, but it is very clear that they're not being as fair to Shedeur. That's just the way it is. Now he hasn't helped himself out with things like the mime, and he hasn't helped himself out with just the certain things he said in the media. You have to sometimes just give the company line. Just give the company line sometimes. If you do that and you'll prove to them that they may have misjudged you, you can be the leader of the team, and I think you'll get that opportunity. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to get an opportunity for the years out. I really do. I think he just needs to be ready. I think he needs to do as best he can to kind of fix some of those things that they are critiquing about him holding on to the ball too long, taking sacks. His feet work. I definitely do think he needs to work on those things before he gets in the game. You want to be ready so you don't have to get ready. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about Tyreek Hill and his injury. Many prayers go out to Tyreek Hill. And, man, I mean, that is just a tough injury. And what I will say is, I kind of feel bad for Tyreek now because things are going really rough for him. Not only has he had this injury, but he's also, him and his old lady are having some difficulties, and she's in court, taking him to court, or parting ways. So when it rains, it pours. So definitely hope he gets better. I do think this is not the last that we've seen of Tyreek Hill. I do believe he will recuperate, give it about a year. With this type of injury, unfortunately, you have to call it the way it is. He's not going to be that same cheetah. I think he's going to be very fast, but, that is a very significant knee injury that he's had. He will be fast, but I don't think he'll be the cheetah. He's getting up there in age as well. And I don't think it's going to be the last that we're going to see Tyreek. I definitely think he'll be somewhere playing in the league. It's not the last you see in Tyreek Hill. And I said it here on the Alford Sports Talk show. And I definitely pray that is going to be the case. But I do feel like he will get another opportunity. So definitely props to Tyreek Hill. Let me talk a little bit about the games that are coming up. Let me give you those predictions right now. Okay, so the 49ers did beat the Rams. I would have gotten that wrong. I felt as if the Rams should have won that game. So we have the Vikings and the Browns. I have the Vikings winning. Coincidentally, Cowboys and Jets. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I think they win this game. Saints and the Giants. I think things start to turn around a little bit for the Giants, and they're gonna win this game. The Giants, Raiders, and the Colts. It's gonna be a good game as well. I got the Raiders winning. Dolphins and the Panthers. That should be a really good game as well. But I do feel as if the Panthers pull it out. Broncos and Eagles. I have the Eagles winning. Texans and the Ravens. Lamar's not playing in this game, so things are going to be very interesting. You know what? I think I'm going to go on a limb and say the Texans win the game. We have the Titans and the Cardinals, and it's going to be a good game. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Bucks and Seahawks. Got to go with my Bucks. We have the Lions and Bengals. I'm going to go definitely with the Lions. And we have the Commanders and Chargers. It's going to be a good game. I feel like the Chargers get back on the Commanders. I beg your pardon. I believe the Commanders get back on track, and they end up winning the game. Patriots and Bills. I have the Bills. Jags and Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning. I believe the Chiefs are starting to get back to their winning ways, and they're going to do good. So those are my predictions there for the upcoming game. And just to remind you guys, I will be calling and broadcasting the Bucks versus Seahawks game here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. So definitely look out for that. And I did want to give some props too as well. You know, that's the great thing about this great show is that you guys bless those opportunities, and it don't happen without you guys. And definitely today was another example of it. Want to give major props to Rudy Ramon Reyes being on the show today. I'm going to put up a post for that as well. Rudy, really appreciate you. Rudy Ramon Reyes, great time on the show. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love. And we're going to have Rudy come on our show as well. So definitely props on that as well. I did want to switch gears here and talk a little Major League Baseball. Well, the Yankees survived. And props to the Yankees. You know, they're the first and only team that lost the first game and came back to win. They lost the first game and came back to win the series in a best-of-3 series. So that is awesome that they was able to do that. And let's see how they do in the next series. I think the Yankees win the next series as well. I don't really worry about the Yankees until they get to the championship game and the World Series. And we have to see. But I definitely do think that the momentum is going to carry over with the rest. They'll go ahead and win the next series. The sale is official. The Rays are officially sold. And let me give you what's going to happen there. You know, I definitely hope and pray that the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show gets much more of an opportunity, and pray that we get a chance to cover the Rays with the new Rays ownership of Patrick Zalapusky. So I definitely pray that Patrick hooks us up. Me and the fan man, we go ahead and do our thing and cover the Rays. I'll even give a BOGO, buy one, get one free. If Patrick hooks us up, I will look to go ahead and cover the Rowdies. He got the Rowdies too in that deal, the Rays and the Rowdies. That's right. So props to the entire team. It wasn't just Patrick. It was the entire Florida-based executive ownership. They sold it official by Stuart Sternberg. He passed the reins over to the new Florida-based executive, Patrick Zalapusky. If I mispronounce that last name, I beg your pardon. I'm really sorry. But definitely props. Come on, Patrick. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show, and the fan man. We need to cover the Rays. Please give us opportunity. Definitely. That'll be really cool. And you won't be disappointed. That's right. Put it out there. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show and the fan man are going to be doing big things for the Rays in 2026. We're going to light the world on fire. Now, as far as the Rays are concerned, they are coming back to the Trop. The reason why they're coming back to the Trop, because the lease is not up. So you will see the Rays in Tropicana Field. There's no place like Dome.
So you're gonna see them back, and that's what you're gonna see. So props to Bruce Reynolds, author of "There Is No Place Like Dome." Check out that great book on Amazon. There is no place like Dome, and that's right. The Rays will be back in the Dome starting next season. They're still looking for a new place until the lease is up. Let's see here. And let me give you that date on when the lease is up. Okay. So the current lease runs until 2028. So they're repairing the stadium. It will be ready next season at the start of the season. So we're going back to Tropicana Field. I really think it's really cool. I know it wasn't promised past the season, but props to George Steinbrenner Field. Props to that, because I just think it was really awesome to have him in Tampa playing at that stadium. I know they're going to be back in the Trop. The new ownership said they're going to have the team somewhere in Tampa. That's what they've been saying. They don't know the location yet. It's by Hillsborough Community College. It's been up in the air, different locations, but they are going to have the team in Tampa once the lease is up. The lease is up in 2028, so it will be a few years. But it was really cool in the time being to have it at George Steinbrenner Field. Props to all the fans who came out and supported the Rays, and you can see if it's in the right place, people will come out. I know that it only seats just over 10,000 people, but almost every game looked like it was packed, versus the larger venue of the stadium. So I'm curious to see how the tents will be in 2026. But I know we're going to have two people that's going to be in there. You got to speak into existence. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show will be there covering the Rays, speaking into existence, and so will the Fan Man. He's going to be one of the guys that will be part of the mascot team because he is a big-time fan. Fan Man, you are the man. And that's who they need to get out there. Let me show you the Fan Man for people who don't know who the Fan Man is. And once I show you this picture, you gotta tell me this guy needs to be one of the mascots. He needs to be part of the team. So does the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. We need to be part of the team too. That's right. Let me get my man, Fan Man. Fan Man, you are the man. Fan Man. Get his Yeah, that's awesome, man. Fan Man. Yeah, let me get another picture here, Fan Man. Let me pull this up for you guys. I must have moved them. Let me see here. There we go. Fan Man, there you go. That's my son Byron. Fan Man. Yep. The Allen Alpha Sports Talk Show will be doing big things. Wherever they're going to be, the Trop. Fan Man, you the man. Let's see. Let me get another picture here of the Fan Man before I close this out. Yeah, that's yes, we won't disappoint you. We'll make sure. Here we go. I actually want to look at the pictures here. I went to a lot of games, Let me and you never know who you might run into. You never know. I mean, hey, you never know who you might run into. There you go. That's Roger Clemens. So it was awesome having it right there. George Steinbrenner Field, really cool. I know it's not. There we go, Fan Man. We both going to be in there. Fan man, you the man. Yes. So speaking into existence, we're going to be there covering the Rays and looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. Not official yet, but yes, that's where the goals are. So, having said that, let me go ahead and give props to another great guy. Let me do that right here. Sam Scola Songs. Appreciate you, Sam Scola Songs. Thank you to songwriter Sam Scola Songs and his wife, Mary. All the great songs here tonight. Sam Scola Songs are available on YouTube and Spotify. Check it out. YouTube and Spotify. And there you go. This email is for deals and opportunities, not for spam. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. No spam, deals. And that will be greatly appreciated. That's what he's looking for. Sam Scola Songs. Appreciate him being a songwriter for tonight's songs. Really appreciate you. And it's been an awesome, awesome Friday. Hey, let me say this in closing. Check this out, folks. Tomorrow is a huge day because yours truly, Alan Alford, will be turning 50 tomorrow. And I'm proud to say I'm turning 50 tomorrow. Proud of that. You know why? Because that's half a century. But another reason why I'm extremely proud, because 50 represents 5 decades. For those who don't know, 5 decades is 10 years. A decade is 10 years, 5 decades, 50. Let this be some inspiration for you. Okay? The enemy tried to take me out 5 times, folks. 1 time by gunpoint, 1 time by Uzi, 1 time by knife point, 1 time in Great Adventure, went all the way down to the bottom of the slide, the water slide, 8-10 feet deep, and didn't come back up. Somebody had to go in there and go get me. That's number 4. And last but not least, number 5 was I did a move on a motorcycle, a matrix move. I couldn't reduce that move you told me to. Almost had a crash that took me out. And I did a matrix move and avoided it. Left unscathed. The only thing I put my bike down and barely had a scratch on it. But 5 times the enemy tried to take me out. The only things that I've learned from those lessons there, 2 major things. God loves me, and God has a purpose on my life. And I don't intend on wasting it. God loves you too, and I'm sure he has a purpose on your life as well. Don't waste it. Don't waste the opportunity. Don't waste your life. Go ahead and make it the most you can. I find plenty to smile about after all of that. 5 times the enemy tried to take me out. That is a fact. And any one of those could have avoided me from reaching tomorrow, which is less than 40 minutes away, turning 50 here on the Allen Alpha Sports. So I'm extremely proud of that. Definitely prayers and condolences to anybody who hasn't made it. Prayers to my missed best friend, Alfonso Howard. So, unfortunately, he did not make it to 50. It was the best man at his wedding. A lot to be proud of because not everybody gets to this age at 50. I know that for a fact. Hey, God loves you. He has a purpose in your life. And guess what? I don't intend on wasting it. And I don't imagine you should either. Go out there and be the best you can. Smile. Bad things happen to people. Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you respond to it. That's Lou Holtz. Last quote I'm going to give you is Eminem. If you had one shot or one opportunity in one moment to seize everything you ever wanted, would you capture it or just let it slip? Go out there and don't let an opportunity slip. Go out there and maximize that opportunity and run with it. And you will be successful. No doubt about it. I'm looking to enjoy my 50th birthday tomorrow. I appreciate you guys joining me here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. It is a tremendous honor and pleasure to have this show. I don't take it for granted one moment. Definitely life is precious. There's always something to smile. Give it one more day because that could be the best day of your life. Go ahead and make it all. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the 50th birthday. Appreciate the birthday wishes already and the more that I'll be seeing in the next 23 minutes. May God be with you guys. Have a great weekend. Please and be well. I will see you next Friday here on the Alford Sports Talk Show. Definitely appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching another great episode. We will be back. Have a great night. Oh, man, you guys commented on here. I missed these comments. Whoops. There was some comments on here. Oh, my goodness. Moving Michigan is a major mistake. They're growing organically. They should have it within Michigan. Sorry about that. I missed those. Cheap viewers on steamboo.com. Remove the space. Cheap viewers on steamboo.com. I apologize to Yusuf Arlene. Orlando Gardens are back, it appears. It's not official, but it seems like that's where they're going. Well, Alan, I guess I will see you in Orlando. Yep, you will. Yeah. Oh, wow. Great commentator. Keep sharing your thoughts. You're on fire. Will the Orlando team be named the Guardians or Bandits? Bring back Coach T back. Coach T Buck back. You know, he's coaching. He's coaching in Memphis. I mean, he's coaching college football. Let me get the team name up here. It slipped my mind. You know, that's the thing. They want to get Coach T Buck back. There we go. Okay. Let me get the team pulled up here. It slipped my mind. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, here we go. Mississippi Valley State University. That's right. I should know that off the top of my head. Mississippi Valley State University. There we go. Coach T Buck. Shout out to him. Let me see what other comments we got here. Good for Central Florida. He's ready to be back in Orlando, Yusuf. Adrian Martinez. There you go. Oh, yes, we got a birthday shout out here. Thank you so much, Shirley. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shirley. Okay, yes. I apologize. I didn't see you guys' comments earlier. I don't know why it didn't pop up like it normally does. I apologize. Yes, thank you so much, Shirley. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a big birthday for me. Turning 50. I'm proud of that. I am very, very proud. Thank God. Thank God for your blessings. Thank God for giving me to the age of 50. The enemy tried to take me out 5 times. That is a fact. And he was unsuccessful. And the reason why is because I got God. You know, he loves me and he has a purpose on my life. And I don't intend on wasting it. You guys shouldn't either, because he loves you too and definitely has a purpose in your life as well. I know there's a lot of mental health talk out there. Life is a gift. Birthdays are a gift. I'm going to go ahead and celebrate mine. I apologize for not seeing those comments earlier. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the love. Definitely appreciate it. Tremendously appreciate it. You guys have a great weekend. I know I am. You as well. Go ahead and treat it like it's your birthday as well. Have a great, great weekend. I will be back on Sunday doing the Bucks game, the broadcast, and I'll be back on the Allen Alford Sports Talk show as well Friday night. So until we see each other again, have a blessed night. You guys are awesome. Nothing but love. Have a good night.
It's the end of